What is toxic masculinity? Okay, the first thing I'm noticing, did you realize she painted her nails and then put lotion on?
I was watching all the shit she was doing because it made me feel like, damn, I'm really not a feminine. I don't do all that.
Damn, I'm really not a feminine. Hey guys, it's me again, back with my girl Nature. And today we are going to go in and dive deep into the differences between feminine energy and masculine energy, what that looks like personally for us and for our relationships. So, do you know the differences between being in your feminine soft girl era?
I do not. And just prepping for this has made me realize I do not. No, I don't.
So what do you feel like, what energy do you feel like you normally?
Masculine.
Masculine.
I feel like that.
And why do you feel like that?
Because I feel rough. You know?
Not you getting swole out here, Nature.
You know? I don't know. I feel like I don't lead gently. But maybe, I don't know. I mean, I was having a conversation with my boyfriend last night because we were talking that we were going to do this topic. And I asked him, I was like, what do you think? Because, I mean, I could tell you what I think, but clearly what I think is wrong. But he said he felt like I was kind of in the middle. But when I'm on the outside, I tend to lean more masculine. But when I'm inside, I tend to lean more like on my feminine side. I don't know. What about you?
Hold on. Wait, let me clarify.
Go ahead.
Do you mean like when you're outside in the world or
yes.
Oh, you feel like you're very masculine
in general,
in front of the public.
But I feel like that at home too. But he's like, oh no, you're a little bit more feminine. But I think I could see that in a sense of because I'm super nurturing when it comes to my son. I'm like mommy. I'm gentle in that aspect. So I can see the transition of being super feminine at home or being somewhat. Because I don't know. Because he said it all depends. So now when we'll talk about the quiz too. What about you?
I'm thinking of other questions I have for you.
Oh, go ahead. Ask me away.
I'm wondering, what is he? What kind of man is he? Is he like an alpha male? Is he a beta male? Is he extremely masculine?
He's alpha. He's alpha. He's masculine. Yeah.
So how does that work in your guys' relationship?
I think that's probably why I come down a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Now I got to really sit and think about it. Like
I'm intrigued
because he's not a wussy. Like he's not feminine that by any means. But I've always, even before him, scratch him right now. Even before him from growing up, I've always been like that tomboy running outside. I'm climbing fucking fences and houses. I'm doing the most. I'm playing football on the street. I'm running around with the guys. Like that was like what I did when I was growing up.
Okay, but do you feel like being a tomboy
is the same
as being masculine, as having masculine energy?
Yes, in your childhood, I think so.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's what they classify a younger child, or I wouldn't even say a child, I'll say a younger girl who's a little bit more in tune with her masculine side. They come off as tomboy-y. But yeah, that's the label I feel like we got given.
I was definitely a tomboy. I played sports, athlete. That was my jam. I mean, of course, I had my Barbie dolls and things, and I did, dress up, but I was totally into sports. Like, that was my thing. But I don't know if I would say I was masculine.
I wouldn't say I was masculine because we have masculine and we are both masculine and feminine.
Right.
On all ends, men and female are the same, are like that. They have a little bit of both. I don't know.
Okay, so I definitely am more feminine. I know this. I didn't even have to take a test for this. But I find it interesting because, like you, I think that there have been moments in my life where I feel like, maybe not, but I feel like sometimes I feel like there are moments in my life where I have came off as having a masculine energy. And what's interesting, and this is why I asked you about you and your man, is that for my relationship, boss is extremely masculine. We don't. He's extremely alpha male.
There's no question about it.
He's an extreme alpha male. He's definitely so far masculine.
You have to be feminine. There's no room.
I had no choice. And so I kind of feel like some parts of me that I don't necessarily know if they were masculine, but I used to call it more of like my independent. I was more free spirited, which he claims there's no such thing as being free spirit, whatever. I had to kind of tone those things back for like compromise in our relationship. You know what I mean? For his masculine to live, because truthfully, had I, bucked up or like that kind of thing, there would be no way our relationship could work. And so I feel in the space of comfort. I feel comfortable in the space that we're in because I don't have to be fighting for anything. I have my role in my feminine energy and he has his role in his masculine energy. But I think we should clarify what masculine and feminine energies
Let's do it. I also want to touch on this damn quiz, too.
Yeah, we're going to get there. So, masculine and feminine energy. Hold up. Let me pull this on up because I can't see. Oh, actually, I can see. Okay, so feminine energy is the being mode. So we just are here.
Okay, maybe I am I'm feminine then.
You're just floating in the world.
Because I feel like I am just being.
You're just being. We are receiving, intuitive mind, internal, receptive, fluid, allowing, feeling, empathetic, vulnerable, and creative. The imbalance is powerless, manipulative, needy, oversensitive, codependent. Which actually, can the peanut gallery explain the imbalance? What does imbalance mean? Like as far as this is concerned.
It means like you are lacking some of like you feel.
So, because from what I'm getting, the imbalance.
You're
It's too much of that. Like if you're too much in your feminine energy, you feel powerless.
You're too codependent.
Oh,
I can see that. You know what? I can see that. I am very feminine energy in my relationship for sure.
Oh, so you feel powerless, manipulative, needy?
No, but I feel like
But they could be like.
it's like smaller scales of like
Right.
feeling like there was a point where like I low key was codependent, but not like it was like that's my man. I'm the woman. Like
Yeah.
you're the man. Like so yes. I could see that. I'm okay. I'm like a fake masculine energy. That's what I am. I'm gonna just name it.
Fake masculine?
I'm very balanced at this point.
Okay, so hold on. Let's get into masculine energy then. So masculine energy is the doing mode. Here we go. Giving, logical mind, external, projective, focused, achieving, planning, confident, goal-oriented, driven. The imbalance on that is aggressive, confrontational, controlling, micromanaging, competitive. Wow. So, okay, my true actual thoughts on this is this is what I don't like about the current state. It's like gender wars, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you have to be either feminine energy or masculine energy. I don't think that it's fair to say that women are powerless, they're manipulative because they're sad, and it's like, oh, you're manipulating the situation because you're crying. You know what I mean? I think that it goes there easily. And I think that men being alpha male and very strong and straightforward, people are like, you're insulting me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where we're living in this place of too far, like it's gender against gender, but then also like overly sensitive to everything.
Everything, instead of it just being like, okay, well, I understand, because in all reality, it's a diagram. If y'all can't see it, it's, what are those called? What are they called again?
Venn diagram.
A Venn diagram. Oh my gosh.
It's
wow.
okay. I remember my first day.
Right? And in the middle it says balance, right? I just feel like it goes back to like things that I've said before, where accepting the female, the feminine in a female, accepting the masculine in a man, and knowing what that comes with. And I feel like once we understand where it like what it comes with, and like you have like a deeper sense of knowledge of it and understanding all the other shit, like, oh, they're being manipulative. Maybe there are some people that are manipulative, but in a situation, like just using the example you talked about, I feel like once a man or a woman, I'll say a man in this situation because we're talking about crying and it being manipulative. Oh, she's a woman. She's just very overly emotional. I could see maybe why this got to her. Let's just try to bring it back down. Where are you at? Where am I at, in a sense?
Yeah, because I've experienced even in my relationship where early on, not now, where I think Boss is so uncomfortable with his feminine energy side, where if I was crying or I had an emotion or experience, it's, you're just too emotional, right? And really it's not. It's like I'm operating out of this space, right? This is why you're in a relationship with a woman. I'm operating out of this space. You're operating from this space of masculine energy, right? Of more logic, more
because remember, we're Delulu, right?
Right. More solution oriented. I'm not always going to be thinking that way. But it's not to say that women operating in our feminine space aren't logical, right? Aren't go-getters.
And that's why there's a balance, because we're not just feminine. And just like men, I feel like they're just not masculine. They have, and I feel like the beauty is if you kind of acknowledge the both of them in you, in a sense, as men not running away from their feminine side and like touching into that, women being okay to touch into their masculine side, and it just kind of going.
Because we have both. I mean, from the actual definitions of this, what's funny is I think of motherhood, right?
Yeah.
A mom actually is both.
It's both.
It may seem as feminine, but it really isn't, because every day I have to get the solutions done.
There's a logic mind behind everything we do as moms.
Everything.
Everything
I'm not
we do.
like, oh, I mean, I've seen moms and I'm like, yo, you got to get that under control.
Reel that back
But
in.
truthfully, it's like I'm probably operating more in a space with them in a masculine energy space of like, I have to be the person who's taking on this.
The micromanaging.
Yes. Like I have everything under control. And then of course there's the moments of caregiving and of being in your feminine, all that. But also raising up these kids, you have to have both. There has to be a great balance.
It needs to be a good balance.
That's my opinion.
So
Let's reel the peanut gallery in.
So the peanut gallery. Hi guys, I'm the peanut gallery, and so I've been in a dating relationship with a man who looked masculine, and he seemed to be really masculine. But then when I started dating him, he had feminine energy. So when you guys are talking about women having feminine energy only, men also have that, because this man, he wanted a lot of my time and he wanted me to be more nurturing towards him, but I'm pretty driven in my career and have a lot of my own nurturing to do within my own family. So I didn't really want to spend the time on giving him a lot of that, but I then realized that that was his feminine side. So it was interesting. It's interesting to hear like the feminine and masculine sides of people, because men absolutely have that feminine side. It's just when they decide they want to show it in your relationship, and kind of, I think the women bringing it out of them, or vice versa, because men can also be, more feminine, vice versa. So, I just thought I'd chime in and kind of talk about that, because who knew that men could be more feminine?
Oh yeah, I've met a lot of men that were a little bit more on the feminine side for sure.
I've never seen my husband be on the feminine side.
I'm sure you haven't. I can't even see him on the feminine side. My boyfriend, I would say for him, I feel like he's very in touch with his feelings, which I admire about him. So I feel like that's where he's like on his like feminine side in a sense, where like he can be a little bit more vulnerable. He is he's really empathetic. Like little things like that. But that motherfucker is logic mind. And
See, I like that.
know.
I like being able to have empathy because I feel like that helps your relationship and the dynamic because both parties are heard. But I don't want somebody in here crying up all
with
day.
me. No, I need to cry. You just gotta be the shoulder.
About, I don't know if we're about to make the bills this month. You got to figure that out. If this is my space and I'm owning all this and I'm not coming to you and bringing you this, my concerns every day, then you can't come in here every day hoping we make ends meet. Like, if you're going to own that masculine space, you got to own that. You know what I mean? I feel like both parties have to own where they're at.
All right, so you bring a good point up about like bills, right? And I feel like since we are in such a different day and age right now, it's not like there are a lot of family dynamics that dad works and mom stays home. Shit, I would love to be that dynamic for sure. That would be great. Anyway, that's another time for another story. But I would say, do we have to now, as women, as we're getting into this new phase of life and stages, things have changed, do we have to tap into our masculinity a little bit more because we do need to provide as well? Because like in my house, things are 50-50. So,
I mean, I think in that space, yeah, you are having to be in a more masculine space.
1000%.
I think that's probably why you had the idea that you did in the beginning.
And also this is why. Because we took this quiz, y'all, about being masculine, if we're masculine, more masculine or more feminine. And I am more feminine. That's what the quiz is telling me, which I get it. As I'm reading, it makes sense. But one thing that really stuck out to me is when they said, when most people are stressed or tired, they put on a mask of the opposite energy. Most women, for example, who are feminine at their core will put on like a masculine mask.
That's you?
That's me. I think that's me. It makes sense.
You're like forced to put on that mask.
Yeah, kinda. It's like a survival mechanism in a sense.
Okay, but let me clarify real quick something. Just because two parties are going 50-50, although it may make the woman have to be in her masculine energy a little bit more to be out there being a go-getter, etc. What I still want to clarify about the male is that your 50% is coming to the table. If his 50% is coming to the table and he's spooked about his 50%, he doesn't need to be coming to you, stressing you out. Oh, I can't find it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm just so stressed so hard. You need to figure it out.
I can see what you mean in a sense of like, because if we came like that, and even if we take like money out of this equation or put it in any context, and we came to the man like, oh, like, they would look at us and like try to give us a solution, and they expect that out of us. But if our man came to us like, oh, with the whiny shit, we're gonna look at them like right. Buff up a little bit, like.
I mean, like, if my husband came to me with the whining, he's hit rock bottom. So then I know maybe we should go to the ER because something's up. I'm just saying it's like regardless of what the responsibility is or what someone is going through, as far as like, not severe circumstances, but like your day-to-day, you have to step up to the plate. That is a man. If you want to be an alpha male, you say that you're an alpha male, you need to do that. I personally, if I'm going to be in my feminine energy, I'm not coddling the whole home. I mean, it's like, come on now. Because then that's like toxic, right? Which is another question that I want to ask. What is toxic masculinity? Right? Because women love to say that.
We love the word toxic now. Everyone's toxic. Toxic this, toxic that. Ooh, I think it could be like the extreme. Like I look at toxic like somebody that's super extreme. And I feel like a lot of times people aren't extreme.
I feel like that's a fake term that women
Yeah.
are just don't want to be held accountable.
Oh, we don't ever want to be held accountable.
They don't want men to have their role, and you know, they don't want to be told what to do. So it becomes a toxic masculine thing. When my husband was like, "Hey babe, I don't like that," I had to respect that. You know what I mean?
Right, instead
like,
of saying like it's looked at like, woe is me. Like,
take that toxic masculinity somewhere else.
I'm me, I'm this. It's very, I get what you're saying because it's about like the respect. It's about,
yes.
It's not.
I respect my husband enough. Okay, if you feel like as a woman I should be operating this way within boundaries and
if it makes sense,
yeah.
like if it's like, oh, you know what, that is gonna make me a better human, and that's what we need. I feel like
I gotta listen. I'm a reflection of him. He is a reflection of me.
you.
So I'm with that. I'm fine with that. I'm off that. So okay, hold on. Here we go. Oh, here we go. The peanut gallery got it. So what is the meaning of toxic masculinity? Toxic masculinity refers to the notion that some people's idea of manliness perpetuates domination, homophobia, and aggression. Toxic masculinity involves cultural pressures for men to behave in a certain way, and it's likely this affects all boys and men in some fashion. This is where I'd love to like key in my husband, see what his thoughts are.
Because I feel like
he loves talking about this. Again, I feel like it's used to, I believe this definition.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's used by women just to, this man, he tried to tell me, okay, let's say something
not
like this.
embracing the masculinity of a man.
What's her name?
Oh,
Kiki,
please, let's talk about it. That was bullshit.
The dress.
The dress, it was wrong.
Okay, so by the way, let's not get into the details of if they're together, she's a mom. Okay, say that was her man, she had the baby, and then he comes down and says, "Yo, why you have to put the dress on? That was inappropriate." What are your thoughts?
I kind of like felt him in a sense, 1000%. Not in a sense, I did. I feel like a lot of women were like, oh, she just had a baby. She's just living her life. Like, let her be. She's like in tune with herself. And by all means, you could be in tune with yourself and have a great time. But I think it's about the respect. And at that point, when you stepped outside like that and that's how things transpired, the respect, low-key, high-key was not there anymore. So I feel like that's where he was coming from. Mm-hmm. Like, as a man, I felt disrespected. Like, my woman's out there like that? Mm-hmm. Like, that's my woman? Just as if, like, it was vice versa. I'm sure if it was vice versa and the shoes were on other feet and it was another female's man that was outside doing the most, he's going to get, like, butchered. Yeah. And, like, the woman's going to feel some type of way because that's my man.
So is that toxic masculinity?
I don't think so.
Trying to control.
I don't think it's toxic masculinity. I think he probably could have communicated better and not like went straight on social media because that's what we do all the time now. But I don't necessarily feel like it was toxic masculinity. I think that it could have been better better in terms of communication between the two of them.
Right. I agree. I don't think that's toxic masculinity. And no. I think that if, again, it's like women are like, he doesn't want me to wear this. It's controlling. I think it's respect. I think
it's respect.
I think it's very respectful, personally. So I also agree. I do not think that that type of idea is toxic masculinity, which is what a lot of women love to try and do. Oh, he doesn't want me to be out. You know, he's trying to control me, have me home 2 a.m. Well, you do have babies at home,
but
and
2
that
a.m.
is your
What
husband.
in all reality, though, you got a husband with some kids at home, or you got a man or whatever. What do you need to be out at 3 a.m. in the morning for? You can get hurt. You're a woman. You can get hurt. You can get kidnapped. You can get abused. There's a lot of things that can happen. So when men say things like, when it may come off like I'm being controlling or come off like I don't want you out that late or like, what? Why are you wearing that? It can come off to a woman as, instead of them opening their eyes and looking like, why is he saying this? Oh, he's saying this because, oh, this is a little bit, or like, ooh, I am out a little bit late and my crowd isn't the greatest. Something can happen to me. I get it. I'm a woman. I can't hold my own in a sense. I can, but I can't because I'm a woman. So it's a little bit different.
Way, it's balance.
Yeah.
Right. And so it goes back to what we were talking about before. There has to be a balance. Is there a time and place for things? Sure. But like, be reasonable. Operate within reason. Be respectful. You know what I mean? Be balanced. So anyways, that's a good point. We do have a video to watch TikTok. Let's see what she's got.
Let's talk 4 ways my fiance allows me to stay in my feminine. Starting off strong, Riley does wake me up every single morning. We have a technology-free bedroom, which means that our phones do charge in the kitchen. So he walks out there every morning and turns off my alarm, warms up the house to make sure that I get to wake up in a quiet and peaceful way so I don't start my day with a cortisol spike. Number 2, every time I leave the house, Riley walks me out to my car and opens the door. This is just something that's really sweet, something that we've always done, and it just makes me feel like a princess, and I'm just so appreciative. Number 3, and this one is super important, Riley is strong, decisive, and naturally takes on the role of the leader in our relationship. So naturally, Riley is someone who is very in his masculine, and I believe that this is a huge reason why we work so well. So what does this look like in our daily life? 9 times out of 10, it looks like he is planning the date nights, he's booking our vacations, and he's also dealing with major financial decisions like our investments and real estate. So I realize this does take a lot of trust, and I'm so grateful to have somebody who always puts my best interest at heart. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for us. Number 4, he drives. No matter where we're going, it could be 10 minutes, it can be 12 hours. I'm the passenger princess. Like for part 2.
Okay, the first thing I'm noticing, did you realize she painted her nails and then put lotion on?
I was watching all the shit she was doing because it made me feel like, damn, I'm really not a feminine. I don't do all that.
Damn, I'm really not a feminine. Now, I do all that,
I'm
girl.
sure
I'm
you.
gonna dress.
I love that. I love that for you. But I don't have that in me. To warm my house up is crazy. I wish. It's fucking freezing when I wake up.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, so let me tell you something I will say. I don't know. I'm most certain it's probably not for me. It's probably for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
But
You could imagine.
I do get to experience some of this. The other day, it was so cold outside. Boss did go outside, and he turned the car on before I took Knox to school so that the car would be warm. And I thought, I'm into that.
I love that.
Yeah, so that was good. But I think this girl, she must have, 2 things. Either it's a fake video and it's like a comedy sketch video, or they're out of their fucking mind.
No, I was about to say they're literally, she found herself. I can only imagine what he looked like and how he moved and operate.
The wake up to without a spike of cortisol?
Yeah.
Are you joking?
No. Could it be me?
That is crazy.
Ain't no way.
What?
I don't know what they're laughing at. I did.
What did I do?
Like that they have I did like that they don't sleep with their phones. That's what
Okay,
I
I like that because
I like the no. I like the no technology.
conversation.
I know. Yeah.
Because that's a whole thing like of connecting.
Oh
You have
yeah,
to
we have to do that.
No, yeah, that's a whole
That's
separate conversation.
That's the next one.
But I just think it's a little excessive. I think that's a lot. I don't think that.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'd like to know the details of their relationship because sometimes, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, women can use that like being in my feminine energy to be controlling over an environment. I don't know.
I think it's too much for me because personally for me, and maybe because I'm in between or I have like, that's how I kind of look at myself. I feel like if my boyfriend was, or my man was doing that all the time, like I would tell him to sit down.
Yeah, it's just kind of a lot.
Like I would be like, oh, you're annoying me now. Like make me mad for a second. Don't do something for a second. Like, if that makes sense.
I was cracking up. I was watching this comedy special. I forgot what his name was. And he was talking about how he wants to be a passenger prince. How he'd love to be the passenger prince.
When she said that, in my head, I'm like, yeah, we fight over who's about to drive.
Oh, is that right?
I
don't drive.
It'd be like, I'm sure you don't. It'd be like, you trying to drive? No, I'm not trying to drive. I drove before. All right, I'll drive this time.
Yeah, but you guys are also from New York, so.
Yeah, well, he's from Jersey. Don't let him. Don't tell him that, because even though New York's better, we're not gonna talk about it.
That is so funny. But shout out to our Dre Shell, okay. Okay, that was a funny video. But shout out to Drachelle Fiona for sharing that feminine energy that she is in with her nail polish and lotion, quick dry nail polish.
No, I'm thinking it was cuticle stuff.
No, girl, she was...
Like, you know, like, right in the nail salon, they
maybe
put the
she
stuff
had,
in
like,
the cuticle,
oil.
and then they have you wash your hands, or they give you them hand massage.
Yeah, I need that right now.
Could have been that, for sure.
Okay, so...
Ooh.
Oh, these are great tips. Okay, so let's leave off with tips. 6 ways to cultivate the feminine energy.
Number 1 is my biggest one, meditation. I'm a big person that believes in just grounding yourself, just being present, being.
Do you say a mantra?
No,
Do you just sit there?
I just sit there. So it all depends. Like, for example, like last night, I felt super like in overdrive. So last night after I put my son down, I laid down on the couch. The washing machine was on. I don't know what else was on. And I just sat there and I just was listening to all the sounds that I can hear, the feeling of my couch. And then I literally said to myself, just like, all right, I feel my feet. I started feeling my feet. All right, I feel my shins. I started feeling my shins, my calves. Like, just kind of bringing myself down. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I actually talk to myself, like in the car when I'm on my way to work, like what I'm grateful for, or just that I'm here, just being.
I like that. I normally pray when I like to think things through.
That's a good one, too.
Number 2 is create.
I'm not a creator. It's so hard for me to be create.
Create can be like expressing yourself. Let's go. I can't read this.
Let's
Can we
go
pull it up a
out
little bit
of
more?
control and forget about the end product. Grab some paint, a lump of clay, anything, and immerse yourself in joy of
Okay, so this is
making
just like-
solely.
This is just like literally grassroots creating it. We're talking about. We're
I don't have
talking
that.
about going to the pottery studio.
I don't have that.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
don't do
something I
that
have
either.
yet.
But you can create. What about the bigger scale of creation of like your career, right? You're
Yes.
trying to create like that. That's another space of like.
Create.
But that career could also be See, okay.
That was my favorite.
I do
over
like painting. Sometimes I like to paint with the kids. Okay, so the other one is dancing. I love that.
I love to just bust out a move.
Come on.
The next one's my
Saturday
favorite.
night.
Chill the fuck out. We need to chill the fuck out
bubble
for
bath
sure.
is on my self-care list.
I haven't taken a bubble bath since I was pregnant.
Are you supposed to take a bubble bath?
I don't really think you're supposed to really take baths when you're pregnant.
Heating that baby up.
But I sure was in a bath. I actually think it's controversy. It's controversial.
I think you're probably fine because the water does go down. But tell me what your bubble bath vibes are.
Girl,
Do you have anything going
no.
on?
I've probably taken 3 bubble baths in my whole life.
Okay, I don't take often bubble baths, but when I do,
You got the
We got
candles and
the-
everything.
I got a
the
candle.
smell goods.
I got a candle. I got wine. Okay. I'm considering pulling up that iPad, but for now I got some tunes playing. Maybe something like
How
Snow.
long is your bath?
Like 20 minutes. But you always have to shower first before getting in the bath.
Yes, because your body's dirty and you're just sitting in dirty ass water, which is why I
Thank
don't
you.
take baths. But that makes sense.
This leads me to another thing, but I'll wait for that. Okay, so the next one is share. Sharing is your vulnerability, where vulnerability begins. Where vulnerability begins. When you open up and get real. So that's nice. I like that. I think that women do that a lot. This is what this podcast is for.
Yeah.
And then flow.
Flow, just being.
Set aside a whole day where there's nothing on your agenda. Just let yourself wake up and flow through it. Oh, those used to be the best days.
Those were girl, this adulting is ghetto. Who told us to be adults and rush this shit? Because
Knox got full schedule Saturdays and
there's
Sundays.
no such thing as that. Like,
College days, girl.
Ever.
A nice Saturday wake up. Who knows where the day will take me?
I was at track meets, and honestly, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's where I
Girl.
live, breathe, and sleep. All right, masculine energy. 6 ways to cultivate your masculine energy. Create structure. Yeah, we all need structure.
I got structure, so I guess I'm kind of masculine. My kids got a full line
We got schedule. It's like boom, boom.
Some Marines over here.
We used to butt heads, me and my boyfriend, about how, like, I was like strict. Like, he need a nap. Why? why does he need, I want to go out. Like our life doesn't survive. No, structure, because that's how they thrive.
Right.
Makes sense.
Take consistent action. Small moments many times is a motto we love. We got that. Inner strength meditation. Tap into your inner resources for resilience through this free guided meditation and visualization practice.
Are you going to quote them too? Listen at.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so inner strength and meditation. I'm not sure if my husband does that, but he probably works out and is probably
Dom,
meditating.
let me explain something to you. When that man is on the treadmill and it's like at the end, that motherfucker talks to himself. Let's go, boss. What? He talks to himself. So he definitely
is the strongest minded man I've ever met in my life.
1,000%. So he definitely does that inner strength meditation for sure.
Buff
Move and make noise.
strong.
That's kind of like similar to us too, in terms of like the feminine, in terms of the dance.
I feel like move and make noise is like in
Oh,
the
that's
gym.
true. That's true.
Lift that weight. That's like
That's true.
they're like cussing each other out and stuff. Power pose. Stand up nice and tall. Yeah, this
I
is
have
like
those.
this is like for a man that's trying to be a man. This is like being men for dummies. Oh, is this?
That's what feminine energy has to do.
Oh.
Masculine.
Okay, yeah. So this is like feminine. Okay, got it. So set some goals.
Oh, this is how we make ourselves
this
a
is
little
like
bit
either
more
women
masculine?
or more like
Oh, these
beta.
are for women.
Okay, so for anyone who is lacking in their feminine energy, 6 steps are meditation, be creative, dance, chill the F out, share your stories, and just go with the flow. And then for all the men out there, or women, I'm sorry, I'm lying. Okay. And then for all of you ladies out there that want to try and bring out some of this masculine energy, create some structure for yourself. Take consistent action. Inner strength and meditation is really great. Move and make some noise. So my movement will be working out. Power pose. Oof, crack your back and set some goals.
Oh, sorry.
So those are good. The 6 tips for both sides. And now that Nature and I have gone through our ideas of female and masculine energy, we are going to ask the expert, Lynn Dudley, who is here. She's a PA for functional medicine, about what feminine energy is for her and any tips and tricks that she has to create that. Okay, so I can't stand using plastic water bottles. Path is the first refillable and 100% recyclable bottled water packaged in a sleek and sturdy aluminum container, which I love. They make it easy for our family to feel good about making a positive impact on the environment, including our kids. Also, their bottles are fully customizable. There's this one particular limited edition Path water bottle featuring the Ninja Turtle characters. My boys absolutely love it. They actually fight over who gets to have it, and it's just a great way to teach them and the next generation the importance of reuse. And you can create your own custom Path water bottle for your next event. I was actually just thinking about it. I wish for all of our 3 gender reveals that we were able to have a team girl or team boy water bottle for the party. Of course, it would have been all team boys. But so visit drinkpathwater.com to check out the coolest designs and to create your own today. Hey, Lynn, thanks for coming back on our show. So excited.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so excited to have you here. So today we're talking about masculine and feminine energies and how we use it personally, and then also how it affects our relationships. So we wanted to kind of go through some questions with you and ask the expert how functional medicine or anything like that could tie into those energies. I know Nature had one specific question. Did you want to ask about the paneling?
Yeah,
First?
sure. We'll just jump right into it. So I've been doing a lot of like dive deeping lately about like supplements and vitamins and stuff like that. Because I notice it's like a big thing that people do. And and I feel like for a very long time, I was very like, I'm getting my vitamins and my minerals from my food. And I would kind of make sure that I have like a wide variety of like fruits and vegetables so that I could, incorporate all like my minerals and vitamins. What my question would be is, moving forward, I want to start implementing some supplements because I feel like I'm like fatigued. Something's malnourished. What type of blood panels would you say somebody should go and get, in a sense, or ask for when they're just trying to kind of look at just everything overall in terms of your vitamins, like it being deficient or not, or?
Well, that's a great question. And I can tell you from a functional medicine perspective what is ideal, but you may or may not have much success in getting a regular primary care to like buy into this. But I'll tell you what I look for. I think first and foremost, and I'm speaking mostly to females right now.
Yes.
And how important this is for our hormones. And so there's a few things I always look at. Vitamin D3 is a must to understand your value of that. Vitamin B12 is a must to understand your value of that. Iron level is a must for cycling females. It's really easy to get depleted and get low iron. Your thyroid is a must. A lot of doctors don't check it quite as thoroughly as functional practitioners do. And so there's a lot of people that have thyroid dysfunction and don't know it. And that definitely gets wrapped up into your menstrual cycle and how it can negatively impact that. If you have even just suboptimal thyroid levels, it can impact it. And we check your actual hormone levels. You know, there's so much that goes into that energy question.
Right.
Right. But I think one of the things that I hear a lot is that my energy is different throughout the month. Like there's times in the month where my energy is great, and there's other times of the month, usually right before I get my period, where my energy just kind of tanks. And so it could be for those people, you actually need your hormone levels checked. So that's just a few, like D3, B12, iron, thyroid, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. That's a good starting list.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I'm marking it right now. Marking it down.
So you mentioned hormones, obviously. So if you eat in sync with your hormone schedule, does that actually help with our energy levels, and et cetera?
It can. I think just generally healthy eating is going to be the most important thing to keep your hormones at a good level. However, depending on where you are in your cycle, there may be different needs. For instance, when you're actually menstruating, you need iron. You're losing a lot of iron, and iron-rich foods like beets, spinach, grass-fed beef, they can replete your iron.
Okay.
During what's called the follicular phase, which is when most women feel great, when your period's done and we're kind of in the middle, that's when a lot of women feel their best. And just eat healthy, be reasonable during that time frame. There's no specific needs. But then there's this thing called the luteal phase, which is that week leading up to your period when we don't feel our best. Most of the time, when the crap hits the fan, so to speak. Actually, I skipped one. Ovulation phase, right in the middle, like day 14, 15. That's when it's great to get some liver support. So cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, the spice turmeric, cilantro, things that help that big spike in estrogen that you get in that middle of the month kind of process out healthily. And then that week before your period comes in, that's called the luteal phase. And you really need magnesium during that time. So magnesium-rich foods, things like green leafy vegetables, nuts and seeds, avocados. So to answer your question, yes and no.
Right.
Just overall healthy eating helps maintain balance. But there are some key nutrients that you need at specific parts of your cycle.
When you say healthy eating, there's so much information about dieting. I'm doing this kind of diet. I'm doing this diet. Some to be kind of excessive to me. What would you consider a healthy diet overall?
Yeah, another great question. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in the latest thing, like used to be low fat, and then it was low carb and keto and intermittent fasting, and now we have Ozempic, and there's just so many things that it's hard to know who to believe. What's right for you is very unique for your body type. However, there's a few universal themes that I think are just always true, no matter what diet or eating pattern you choose to adopt. And we talked a little bit about it last time too, but sugar's not your friend ever. Processed foods in general are not good. So the closer to the ground the food is, the less processed it is. Just whole foods in their state that they're supposed to be. Lean proteins, preferably organic, lots of vegetables, fruits, and what I would call low glycemic carbs. So the type of carbs that aren't going to spike your blood sugar, like the white starchy stuff, white potatoes, rice, corns, pastas, probably not so good. Things like quinoa, brown rice is better than white rice. Sweet potato is better than the white potato. Okay. So some reasonable amount of carbs.
How do you feel about
anytime you eliminate entire food groups from your diet, you're asking for trouble eventually. It may be good in the short term, like keto, for instance. Keto's like no carbs. There's a time and place for that, but as a long-term eating strategy, your body's going to eventually rebel against having no carbs. So there's not a one-size-fits-all approach, other than those few universal themes that I think are true no matter what you decide to do.
How you like, jasmine rice or basmati rice?
Better than plain white.
Okay.
But it's really more about brown rice. It's going to have slightly more, there's some iron and magnesium in brown rice. So it's a little bit healthier for you, but it's still, rice in general is going to have a pretty high carb load for you. And unless you are balancing that out with having your plate that's mostly vegetables, some lean proteins, healthy fats, and just a little bit of rice, then you'll be okay.
I love jasmine rice.
I eat jasmine rice almost every day, y'all.
So good. So of course you were talking about the female, but we do have a question. Can men have too much testosterone?
And women have too much estrogen?
Absolutely. It's a thing. It's pretty rare to see a man with too much testosterone unless he's actually doing testosterone therapy in some form. It's definitely possible for women to be what we would call estrogen dominant. Their cycle's dominated by a lot of estrogen output. Either they're putting out too much or they're having trouble, again, clearing it out of their system, which you need your liver to help you do. Those are people who are going to be complaining of a lot of PMS. They're really going to feel quite miserable, breast soreness, heavy flow, cramping, bloating, mood changes. Those are signs of some estrogen dominant type of symptoms. They on the flip side of that, they might not have enough progesterone. One of those two things is off, either too much estrogen or not enough progesterone. But the men having too much testosterone, usually not, unless you're giving them testosterone therapy in some form.
Okay. And how would you balance that out? Like for females who can identify like, okay, I'm having all of those symptoms. Would it be by giving more testosterone or laying off certain foods or hormone therapy? What would you suggest for someone like that?
Perhaps an all of the above approach. The first thing that we like to do in functional medicine is measure your levels. Check, we can assume based on some symptoms, but actually put some numbers on paper to see what the person's issues are. And then it's kind of what I alluded to. If someone is really that out of balance, it's like two sides of the equation. We could either do things to clear out estrogen, and that can be diet, those cruciferous vegetables that we talked about, things that are supportive of your liver, that detox pathway to help move that extra estrogen out, or supporting the progesterone side. That's why vitamin D is really important. Vitamin D that we talked about earlier is actually more of a hormone than a vitamin. So if someone has a vitamin D deficiency, they're going to be more apt to be hormonally out of balance. So something as simple as putting them on vitamin D can help those symptoms. Sometimes it's severe enough that we'll support using progesterone. We'll give them a progesterone cream to supplement in that second half of their cycle. So it's a multi-pronged approach depending on the nature of the problem.
And then this might be just a simple question, but I love to just put my supplements in tea. Is there any specific way that you would suggest taking your supplements? You mentioned vitamin D, so I'll just do the dropper into my teas and zinc and stuff like that. Just dilute it quite a bit. What are your thoughts on that?
So sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it matters a lot.
Okay.
So the one we just mentioned, vitamin D, actually matters a lot because vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. You got to take it with some fat to get it to absorb. So if you're teased with a big meal, fine. If your tea's just by itself, I would worry that you may not be getting the most bang for your buck, so to speak, from that vitamin D in your tea. Okay. For the most part, it's fine to put it in a tea or put it in a smoothie, as long as you're sure you're getting it all in. I'm not worried so much about the dilution factor. It's just about, is it going to be absorbed properly?
Okay. And then I guess the last question before we let you go is, as you know, we're talking about feminine energy. What is feminine energy to you, and what would be the main ways that you think that women could be in our feminine energy from your functional medicine standpoint?
Yeah, I think that I look at it a little bit differently, maybe. I like the definition of doing versus being, of logic versus intuition. To me, masculine and feminine conjures up some preconceived notions, and sometimes some negative ones. I look at it like, the other way to think of it is like the present self versus the higher self. And how do you connect all your parts together? How do you achieve true authenticity is what I'm really talking about. So whether or not you're thriving in your feminine energy or your masculine energy, because both are good. You know, it's not that one's bad or one's good, and we all have both of them. I think when you know that you're walking in the right state is when you feel authentic in yourself, and that people can feel that, and that you just operate from a sense of knowing, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And the way that I counsel my patients to get in touch with that is my favorite that I'll talk about every week probably is meditation, because that is the thing that helps you tap into your true, authentic, intuitive self, to walk in a state where you almost don't have to worry about making decisions because you just know. You know, the thing when you're in that state of flow and things are just be, then you know you're in your true authentic self. Whether in that moment that means you're being feminine or masculine doesn't matter. You're in your true state of authenticity. So that's kind of how I think of it. Neither one's good or bad. How you tap into it is get to a place of your higher self in your true state of authenticity. And the best way I've found to do that is a daily meditation practice. Without a doubt, that gets me personally in my state of flow, where I just go about my day knowing I'm where I'm supposed to be. And if you're operating from that point, that's going to help your relationship. Your partner will feed off that. There'll be less conflict if you're in from that place of your true you. So meditation is what it comes down to.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel centered already just by hearing you. I'm like, are we about to go into a meditation session right now? I love it.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We'll do that one week.
I love it. That would be great. Well, thank you so much, Lynn, for coming back on.
Thank you, Lynn.
We're so appreciative.
My pleasure. Nice to see you, ladies.
Yes, and we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for listening today. For any of you guys that have any questions, please hit the hotline, send in your questions or responses to things. We would love to share and hear your feedback.